This is WKYT This Morning.
Happy Monday. I'm Michelle Chamberlain.
And I'm Bill Bryant, and it's so good to have you on WKYT. What about that weekend, huh?
It was fabulous.
Wasn't it great? It's now Monday, April 18th, and it's good to have you with us.
Tax day, too.
Yeah.
Now at 6, how a young man left his mark. Friends plan to honor a UK student who was murdered in Lexington.
Also this morning, the latest on the investigation into a deadly crash in Bourbon County. It has killed a cyclist. We still have a lot of questions about that.
And find out how teachers use Zumba to show support for a fallen Central Kentucky police officer.
Nice feel this morning after a fantastic weekend. You know what? We actually get a little bit warmer in the forecast later on today. 40s and 50s this morning. Won't really need a coat by the afternoon. You definitely won't need one. 83 degrees, a lot of sunshine. How long do we hold on to the sunny skies? When does the rain move on in? I'll have that coming up.
And let's get right to the news this morning.
He was murdered a year ago near campus. Today, the University of Kentucky School of Journalism plans to honor one of their own.
Jonathan Kruger was shot and killed as he was walking down East Maxwell Street with a friend. WKYT's Mark Barber is live on UK's campus this morning with details about today's memorial. Mark?
Good morning, Bill. It has been a very long and difficult year for the students here at UK who were close to Jonathan Kruger. Some of his friends say it still feels like he was killed yesterday. Well, the School of Journalism will hold a memorial today to remember the 22-year-old. Kruger was a standout photo editor for the student-run newspaper, the Kentucky Kernel, here on campus, and he would have been promoted to the advertising manager of the Kentucky Kernel this year. He had just returned to Lexington after covering the Final Four last year when he was gunned down just a block from campus. The 22-year-old was walking home with a friend when 3 men pulled up in a van and pulled a gun on him. Police say Kruger died after he was shot in the chest during the robbery. The trial in the high-profile murder case will start next year. 2 of the suspects, Ephraim Diaz and Justin Smith, are eligible for the death penalty. Roman Gonzalez, the 3rd suspect, could face life in prison because he was a juvenile at the time of the shooting. Now, coming up at 6:30, we'll take a look at what could happen when this high-profile case goes to trial on March 6th. Live in Lexington, Mark Barber, WKYT.
Thank you, Mark. New on WKYT this morning, a Lexington man is in jail accused of torturing a dog to death. Police say Michael Hawkins threw the small dog into a pond before hitting it several times with a broom. The dog died from its injuries. Hawkins will be arraigned this afternoon.
We're making some phone calls this morning out of our newsroom about a crash that has killed a bicyclist in Bourbon County. Yesterday's crash was on Lexington Road near Evergreen Memory Gardens. And WKYT's Mike Beyer is at our live desk now to explain what we know and what we're still working to try to figure out. Mike?
Good morning, Bill. That cyclist was killed after being hit by an SUV yesterday afternoon. But this morning, we've yet to learn the victim's name. Here's what we do know. The crash was around 4 o'clock yesterday on Lexington Road in Paris. The Bourbon County Sheriff says the bicyclist was pronounced dead at the scene. It's not clear what led up to the crash. An accident reconstruction crew was called out to the scene to try and determine the cause of the crash. As best as we can tell, the driver of the SUV has not been charged. Now, we have put several calls to both Kentucky State Police and the Bourbon County Coroner to get more details about the accident, but so far they have not returned our calls. At the live desk, Mike Beyer, WKYT.
All right, Mike, thank you. We'll stay on top of that. And we now know the name of a woman who was killed in a eastern Kentucky fire. That fire destroyed an apartment on Highway 777 in Floyd County. The coroner says 50-year-old Kathy Marshall Kirkland was killed. Another person was able to escape. The cause of the fire is still under investigation.
Investigators have identified a body pulled from an eastern Kentucky river. The Breathitt County coroner says someone in a canoe found 39-year-old Maxwell McGee in the middle of the North Fork Kentucky River. State police say they do not suspect foul play. A southern Kentucky inmate who spent weeks on the run is waking up behind bars this morning. The Knox County Sheriff's Office says deputies found Ronald Gray in a wooded area in the Boone Heights community. Deputies say Gray and another inmate jumped out of a transport van on March 28th while going from the Knox County Jail to the Leslie County Jail. The other inmate was arrested almost immediately. 2 deputy jailers were fired over the incident.
Our time this morning is 6:04 on WKYT, and in Madison County, Zumba instructors did their part to help honor a fallen officer. Madison Central High School hosted a Zumba-thon with all of the proceeds going to the Daniel Ellis Foundation. Officer Ellis, as you'll recall, died in the line of duty last year. Since then, his wife has created a foundation dedicated to helping others in his memory. And the community has rallied around the Ellis family to help remember badge number 457.
Alexis, approached and said, everybody's on board, we're going to do a Zumbathon. I said, I'm not very athletic. 5K Zumbathon, but it's been great, and just people have been able to come together and just celebrate Daniel's life, raise money to give back to Madison County, and have a really good time.
Katie Ellis, who is such an inspiration to many others, is an assistant principal at Madison Central High School. Organizers say the Zumbathon helped raise more than $500 for the foundation.
Now, your zone-by-zone forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
What an awesome weekend we had. We had the 70s, and we even made its way to the 80s yesterday. Low 80s, that is. Just over 81. We were just over 80 degrees here at 81 degrees in Lexington yesterday afternoon. 40s and 50s in the forecast. It's actually a pretty good feel this morning. It's not all that bad. And as you travel toward the afternoon, we jump very rapidly. As I always say, a 30-degree swing is a little bit hard to do. It's not rare by any means, but it's a little hard to do. But when you're jumping 33 degrees, I mean, that shows you a big-time swing of temperatures, big-time warm air rolling on in here. 87 is our record high. Obviously, we won't hit that, but we're close to it at least. A lot of sunshine in the forecast today. Head off towards your evening hours, nothing going on. This is good grilling weather. It really is. 78 by 8 p.m. You got to love that. Your 3-day tracker we get into tomorrow, and tomorrow's just the same. Talking low to mid 80s. Today and tomorrow, I don't see any change there in the forecast, but Wednesday is a little bit different. We'll keep those temperatures in the 70s for the most part, but we'll add a little rain to the forecast. And when I say a little, I literally mean a little. We're talking a small chance of rain, 20–30%, and that's it. Then we head towards your Thursday, a couple more showers, a couple more rumbles of thunder sliding on in here. And none of these days, neither one of these days are a complete washout. Now, Friday is going to be a little bit different. I'd say Friday is more of your 60–70% chance of rain. But for the most part, we're not seeing a lot of rain this work week, but at least we have chances in the forecast. Check out these pictures sent to me over the weekend. This is from Tim Lewis down in southern Kentucky in Eubank. Really, really cool shot there, Tim. And also another cool one is we slide on up. Check out that sunrise. That is awesome right there. Richie Barnes, that's from southern Kentucky too. Both of those right there in Pulaski County on my Facebook picks of the weekend that is, and you can check that out. Micah Harris, WKYT. Really cool shots right there from this weekend. We were all sharing stories just all throughout the morning. Just an unbelievable weekend. It was jam-packed with a lot of events going on, and those events were green light. I mean, for every one of them. They were
Right.
perfect for the kids, and the kids loved them. Absolutely.
Yeah, it was one of those weekends where you felt bad being inside.
That's true.
You know, you had to find something to do.
I'm with you. I kind of like naps on the weekend, but I was like, I can't take a nap.
Not this weekend,
No,
I
not
know.
this one.
And then you're exhausted Monday morning.
That's
but
very true.
That's okay. Thanks, Micah. Each morning we bring you weather and traffic together. Officer John, oh, excuse me, Officer
John.
Don. Here it comes. Here it comes. Officer Don is in with a look. What's happening on the roads, Officer Don?
I like Officer Don Juan. That's good. I like that a lot. Thank you there, Micah. No wrecks right now. Traffic looks good on the interstate, and we just checked Clays Mill. There's a stalled car near the circle. That one's inbound blocking the right lane, so we'll get that cleared before too long. As we get an overall look at Lexington traffic this morning, no major issues to deal with. Interstate still looks great, too. Drive times on the way in. From Nicholasville, looks about normal, 12 to 15 minutes coming in on US 27. Versailles Road past the airport is still moving okay, and so is Winchester Road. Coming in from Winchester, count on about 26 minutes or so. Now back to you in the studio.
All right, everything's looking good out there. Thank you so much, Don. Officer Don and Deanne are over there on 98.1 The Bull, so you can tune them in as you ride along this morning. And we have a lot more news coming up for you here on your Monday.
Actor Johnny Depp and his wife talk about her guilty plea in a dog smuggling case in Australia.
30,000 runners prepare to take part in the 120th Boston Marathon. I'm Don Champion in Boston with a look at the heightened security and inspiring stories coming out of this year's race coming up.
Kentucky mornings start here. You're watching WKYT This Morning.
Good morning. Welcome back into WKYT This Morning, live from Lexington at 6:13 here on your Monday. 30,000 athletes are preparing to take part in the 120th running of the Boston Marathon today. They'll do so amid tightened security.
The marathon marks the third since the 2013 bombings at the race that killed 3 people. Don Champion reports from Boston.
On the eve of the iconic Boston Marathon, workers painted the symbolic blue line that guides runners to the finish line. Along the 26.2-mile route, police will be forming a blue line of their own.
We have a lot of undercover officers working the crowd. We have bomb-sniffing dogs. Any marathon, when you cover that amount of distance, unfortunately, you can never say the whole route is secure.
Boston Police Commissioner William Evans ran the 2013 race when 2 terrorists set off pressure cooker bombs near the finish line, killing 3 people. Patrick Downs lost a leg in the bombings. Today, he'll run the marathon for the first time with his prosthetic leg, raising money for students with physical disabilities along the way.
We want to help to ensure that other people with disabilities are also celebrated for the obstacles that they've overcome.
Many runners taking part in the marathon had to qualify. Some say the way the city came together after the bombings inspired them to be here.
Just because that happened, we're not going to stop. We're not going to stop running, and that's not going to be the end of this race.
Richard Webster crossed the finish line 2 minutes before the bombings. He says today is about moving forward.
Let's celebrate the fact that we're alive, that we're running, and that there's more good in this world than evil.
30,000 runners will take part in the race. Don Champion, CBS News, Boston.
Today's race also marks 50 years since the first woman completed the race.
The 2016 presidential contenders make a final push for votes ahead of tomorrow's crucial New York primary. A win would push GOP frontrunner Donald Trump even closer to clinching the Republican nomination over rivals Ted Cruz and John Kasich. And on the Democratic side, polls show Hillary Clinton continuing to hold a 10-point lead over rival Bernie Sanders. If you want to vote in Kentucky's primary, which is next month on the 17th, today is the last day to register. Kentuckians can now register and update their registrations online at govoteky.com. County clerks will also accept online applications until midnight tonight. They will accept paper voter registration applications until the close of business today. Mail-in voter registration applications have to be postmarked by today. Campaign staff for presidential Democratic hopefuls Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders are already in the state and making plans for the primary.
There are devastating losses along Ecuador's Pacific Ocean coast after a magnitude 7.8 earthquake struck over the weekend. At least 270 people were killed. Highways buckled and homes and buildings were flattened. Ecuador's president says Saturday night's quake was the worst natural disaster to hit Ecuador since a 1949 earthquake, which claimed more than 5,000 lives. The U.S. military has joined relief efforts in southern Japan. The area was devastated by 2 powerful earthquakes there. 10 people are still missing and at least 42 have died and more than 1,000 were injured. The U.S. is delivering aid to remote areas of the country that have been cut off by landslides and damaged roads. Actress Amber Heard has pleaded guilty to providing a false immigration document after she allegedly smuggled her dogs to Australia. Prosecutors dropped 2 more serious charges that Heard illegally imported her Yorkshire Terriers Pistol and Boo into the country last year when husband Johnny Depp was filming the 5th movie in the Pirates of the Caribbean series.
I am truly sorry that Pistol and Boo were not declared. Protecting Australia is important.
Declare everything when you enter Australia.
Heard could have gone to prison for up to 10 years, but will now avoid jail time.
The time this morning is 6:17 here on WKYT. Sure is nice to have you along with us. A woman may replace Andrew Jackson on the $20 bill. Sources are telling CBS News this morning an announcement is expected this week and that Alexander Hamilton's portrait will remain on the $10 bill. The change is not expected until 2030. Oil prices are falling sharply this morning after the world's leading oil producers failed to reach an agreement to freeze production. That means oil and gas prices continue their volatility. AAA says nationally motorists are paying $2.11 per gallon, up 7 cents from last week, and the highest price at the pump since November of 2015. Today is the deadline for millions of Americans to file their tax returns. Most people got 3 extra days to file due to it being Emancipation Day, the the holiday that is recognized in Washington, D.C. People in Massachusetts and Maine have until tomorrow to file because of Patriots' Day holidays in both of those states. Lots of companies are offering up deals for tax day. You can stop by the Great American Cookie place for a free sugar cookie. Sonic is offering 50% off of cheeseburgers for today. And it's being called the McDonald's of the future. The fast food chain is opening up a restaurant in Missouri that will have kiosks allowing you to customize your burger, and it will also offer all-you-can-eat fries. The restaurant plans to play groups. They'll be hosting groups and children's book readings as well. The new interactive playroom will feature tabletop video games and light boards as well. So fun for the kids.
All-you-can-eat fries?
Yeah,
My kids would sit there all day.
What a deal, huh?
WKYT This Morning is just getting started. Kentucky fans of comedian Cat Williams are not laughing. We'll tell you why coming up.
Yeah, throw a little cheese and bacon on those. Yeah, it's always good in my house. I promise you that. Abnormally warm air, well above average. Could we be breaking records, though? I'll show you that forecast coming up next.
Downtown Lexington, Kentucky this morning, in the heart of the bluegrass. 6:19 is the time. We're coming right back on WKYT This Morning.
Welcome back to WKYT This Morning. Your time is 6:23. Today, the UK School of Journalism will come together to mourn the loss of a student and honor his memory.
And that's what's trending at this hour. Jonathan Kruger was murdered a year ago on Maxwell Street. The 22-year-old was a photographer for the Kentucky Colonel. 3 men charged in his case are set to go on trial next year.
No names have been released in a weekend crash that killed a bicyclist in Bourbon County. State police say an SUV hit the cyclist on Lexington Road near Evergreen Memory Gardens in Paris.
Lexington police have charged Michael Hawkins with dog torture. They say he threw a small dog into a pond before hitting it with a broom. The dog died from its injuries. Beautiful weather over the weekend, and the bonus is it's set to continue. Here's meteorologist Micah Harris.
Yeah, we had a great weekend. And you know what? Starting off the work week like this is awesome, too, because you just don't want to start off with a lot of rain falling, very cold conditions, especially this time of year. And it actually feels pretty nice. People are out and about there on I-75. Winchester Road in and outbound. I'm not seeing any issues whatsoever and haven't heard of any problems from Officer Don there on 981 The Bull. We're at 50 degrees here in Lexington. We're 48 in Richmond, 40s across the region for most part. But like I said, it's not really that cold, but it is on the cool side. So trying to grab that coat before you take off. You will not need it later on this afternoon. We're at 83 degrees later on today. 83. Now, that's not a record. The record's 87, but it's getting a little bit closer, right? Yesterday, we finished off right around 80, 81 degrees for most of the locations. We'll be slightly warmer than that. The focus of the forecast is, yeah, it's a great start, but once we finish off the work week, big changes are coming. Could that mean temperatures? Could that mean rain, showers, thunderstorms? I'll have that in just about 10 minutes.
All right, we'll enjoy what we have ahead of the changes, won't we?
Yes, we will.
Looks really good. 6:25 the time this morning, and the internet has spoken. Bodie McBoatface is the winning name for the United Kingdom's new $300 million state-of-the-art research vehicle. I'm sure they expected a more regal name, right?
Well, you never know. The online poll, it was an online poll, right? It ended over the weekend, and the results weren't even close. Bodie McBoatface won easily with 124,000 votes. The second most popular choice only had 34,000. More than 7,000 entries were submitted. No matter how catchy the name, the poll is only a suggestion.
Yeah, we'll see if they go with that. All right, baby penguins donned their tuxedos and walked the blue carpet in honor of a brand new state-of-the-art facility at the Detroit Zoo.
Oh, look at them run. They're so cute. The new exhibit can reproduce gale force winds and salt spray to simulate a natural Arctic environment.
All right, looks like fun for them. They feel like home, right?
Oh, look, they're so cute.
They really are. Hey, it's good to have you with us. It's Monday morning. This brand new week is off and rolling, and WKYT This Morning will be right back in a moment. It went up in flames months ago.
Then a weekend fundraiser for the historic store ended in tragedy. Details coming up at 6:30.
All of our top stories are on the way, and Tuesday night's Mega Millions jackpot is $89 million, and Wednesday night's Powerball jackpot has climbed to $227 million. We'll be right back on WKYT.